You know how some people say that you should YOLO it up? You know, you only live once. They say that you should do everything you want to do. You should pursue your dreams and follow your ambitions and just live your life because one day you won't be here and you'll just be dead, right? You'll just be nothing. And so if that's the case, you might as well just go ahead and live your life now and do all the things you want to do in X, Y, and Z. Uh, People who make this argument, it's phrased in a way as though this has any intrinsic value to it, whatever this life thing is, right? Um, by all means, if you enjoy your life, if you are a life affirming person who just loves everything about life, more power to you. But for me, I've never been that type of person. Um, I couldn't care less if there is nothing after death. Hope I honestly some most days I hope there is nothing after death. I hope that the atheists are right. I hope that there is just lights out forever and you're just completely fucking dead. Like no consciousness, no thoughts, no needs, no wants, no anything, just lights out forever. I would have absolutely no problem with that. And even if life were to end suddenly, and let's say I didn't fulfill any of my dreams, which I don't have anyway, it would not be a loss to me. It would be of no real loss to a person like me because intrinsically I know that there is no value to this world. There is no real value to this life. Everyone in this world is doing the same thing, albeit they're doing it in different ways, they're doing it with different methods. We're all doing the same exact fucking things. So I don't really see anything worth pursuing in that aspect because it's all been done before. There's nothing new on this planet. It's just repeating cycles of human behaviors of what humans have been doing for millennia. And if this life is the only life that we have, and then it's over, why should I why should I still, why should I fret about that? Why should I be upset about that? That I didn't get to do some trivial thing that everybody else has already done before. Why would I care? I won't. If the atheists are right and there is nothing after death, which I hope they are, then what would it matter to me if I didn't complete some arbitrary dream or ambition that really meant nothing anyway, that only served as every other thing serves as pain mitigation or some temporal relief from deprivation and suffering, which is intrinsic to this world. It's built into life. That's why we have dreams, goals, ambitions, and all these hopes and wants and desires anyway, because it's all pain deprivation. It's all pain mitigation. You're trying to satisfy the uh, the painful reality of this world by doing things that temporarily take away that pain. That's all ambitions and dreams really amount to anyway. So in that regard, why would I be upset that death was the end of absolutely all of it and that my life was relatively short? And again, you can make the case that if there is nothing after death, then life is the longest thing you'll ever have to endure. So it makes no sense to me, this life affirming ideal, this life praising phrase that's meant to motivate people to just do more arbitrary things that other humans have been doing for centuries just to get by, just to have some kind of feeling of enjoyment from this world. I mean, it's hard to explain my anti-life uh, attitude. It's hard for me to even comprehend at times because I'm alive at the same time I'm not. Most of the days I feel like I'm just breathing, like I'm here and that's it. And I don't really have any real particular feelings about it, truthfully. I exist and that's pretty much it. I don't think it's sad. I think it's just, it is what it is. I'm an unwilling participant in this world. And therefore, for me, I don't see anything in it that's worth sticking around for. I don't see anything in this world that's worth pursuing. I don't see any of these dreams and ambitions as being anything other than distractions, albeit somewhat necessary to cope with the pain and suffering of life. But I don't think it's something that I should obsess over because it might be the only life I have to live. I don't care. Life is not sacred to me. If you come to me with a life affirming attitude, that's fine if it works for you, but don't expect me to follow through with it because that's just not present with me. It hasn't been present since my childhood. As soon as I was able to mentally comprehend this world and comprehend what life was about, all of that shit pretty much just went out the water because it's just meaningless. It's all pointless pain mitigation. That's it. Constantly. We eat, we work, we sleep, we party, we do things, we don't do things, and it's all for the same exact reasons. So if there is nothing after death, if it's just lights out, even if I didn't do some arbitrary thing that I might have wanted to do, it would, again, be of no real loss to me because I didn't affirm this world anyway. Never have, never will. Yes, there are pleasant things in the world to do. Yes, there are pleasant distractions to have, but they are just that, pleasant distractions. They are not the intrinsic truth of this world. They are not intrinsically valuable. Suffering and the cessation of suffering is valuable. If death is the end of all suffering, of all chaos, of all pain and sorrow, then what is there to be feared? And if that's the case, in reality, we gain much more from death than we do from life, which just promises us more problems and more headaches and more sorrows and more things to endure. I don't get the idea of praising this world and praising this life when most of it consists of you finding and sustaining yourself due to all of your biological needs and wants. You're working, you're constantly paying bills, you're constantly worrying about this tragedy or that tragedy. You're worrying about what can happen to you down in the future, the next day, the next moment. Worry, 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 stress, pain mitigation, go back to the worry. You work all week and then you get that little day off on the weekend and do whatever you want to do to mitigate and lessen that pain. And then Monday, you go right back to the same shitty cycle and it just goes over and over and over again. So there is nothing to be missed, is the point I'm getting to. There's nothing to be missed. If you died tomorrow and there is nothing, just the absence of consciousness, no pain, no sorrow, no worries, no desires, no thoughts, no needs, no nothing, you gain more that way than you do with life. Because life pretty much gives you the opposite of that all the time. You're always going to worry. You're always going to have needs. You're always going to want. And it's a constant chase of satisfying those needs, desires, and wants until you eventually do die. So what loss is there if this is your only life? So what? You won't miss it if there is nothing. You'll just be dead. And again, like I say, I really, really hope that the atheists are right about this. I mean, I can't imagine any favorable afterlife scenario. I mean, I could probably try. I could imagine that we go off to some peaceful place and live in peace and, do whatever we want for all eternity without suffering. I mean, if that was an option, I'd probably take it. But if that's not the case, then I don't want any part of it. I would much rather prefer eternal sleep, unconscious sleep, than to deal with any unfavorable outcomes. But that's just pretty much what I have to say about it. Life's just not that special. And for those of you who disagree, great. I hope you enjoy your life if that's your goal. If you think this is something worth enjoying, then by all means, knock yourself out. Have a good time. That's great. But for me personally, it's just, it is what it is. I'm doing my time here and I'm getting off this shitty rock because I didn't want to be here in the first place. So that's that.